To continue the notes, we go on with the next examples, which we are asked to identify the additive inverse and the multiplicative inverse for each number. And I have abbreviated here AI for additive inverse and MI for multiplication inverse. So, additive inverse, the additive inverse of a number is just simply going to be the opposite sign. So the additive inverse of -7 is +7. The multiplication inverse of a number is the flipped fraction. In other words, the reciprocal. It has the exact same sign. So here, the multiplication inverse of -7 is -1/7. Number 9's problem is the number 1.25. The additive inverse there, again, would be opposite sign, which is -1.25. And again, the multiplication inverse is just the reciprocal. Again, it has the same sign. So that would start off as 1/1.25. However, that's not right. That's not normal. We should not have a decimal inside of a fraction. So we should divide that. We should go ahead and do 1 divided by 0.25, which is 0.8. Number 10 is negative square root of 1/9. We must first evaluate that before we can determine either inverse. So the negative on the outside indicates that this is a negative fraction. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 9 is 3. So we're really talking about the fraction -1/3 here. So that determines that the additive inverse here is +1/3. And the multiplication inverse here, same sign. And flipped fraction would simply be -3. For number 11, we have a mixed number, -1 3/4. But we must change that mixed number to an improper fraction before we can determine the additive inverse or the multiplication inverse. So remember to do that. You do 4, the denominator, times the whole number. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And the denominator stays the same. It should be a 4. So we're dealing with a fraction, the improper fraction, -7/4, which leads us to the additive inverse of +7/4, and the multiplication inverse of -4/7. Our last two examples, ask us to simplify, which in cases like these, they're expecting us to use the properties that we just talked about to simplify these. However, it's really more of a review to get us ready for the next lesson, which is solving equations. Before I simplify on number 12, I like to point out or highlight, or for you, maybe circling, the like terms. So 7x and -4x are like terms, and +3y and -5y are like terms. Since we've identified the like terms, we can use the commutative property to rearrange our problem. Let's put the x's together first. 7x minus 4x, remembering that when we are rearranging and we're using that commutative property, that the sign in front of that term sticks with that term. So the 4 was negative up here highlighted. When I rewrite it in the red, it's still negative. Then the y's. Plus 3y minus 5y. Okay, so combining the like terms, 7x minus 4x would be 3x. And 3y minus 5y is -2y. So when I write that, I don't write plus -2y, I simply write minus 2y. Now, be careful, because some textbooks, some assignments may rearrange it. So another possible correct solution would be -2y plus 3x. Again, it's exactly the same because the sign in front of each term is exactly the same in both solutions. Before we begin the last problem, let's talk about what we need to do. There are parentheses involved in the problem, so that determines that we must work through I almost gave it away. We must distribute through the parentheses before we can combine any like terms. So distributing the 8 would give us 8r plus 56t. Next, distribute not just a 4, but a negative 4. Negative 4 times 13 would be negative 52t. And negative 4 times 5r would be negative 20r. Again, I would like to highlight my like terms. This is a very good habit to get into. The r's. And again, highlighting the side. Oh, sorry. Highlighted the wrong thing. Let me change that. There's the r. Those are like terms. And the two non-highlighted terms are also like terms. So, combining our like terms, we can rewrite our problem as 8r minus 20r plus 56t minus 52t. 8r minus 12r would be sorry, I gave it away again. 8r minus 20r is negative 12r. And 56t minus 52t would be positive 4t. And just like a moment ago, we talked about other possible solutions. Our other possible solution in this case would be 4t. Sorry, folks. Keep hitting the wrong thing. Our other possible solution would be 4t minus 12r. Both are correct. Both are the same answer.